So we're going to kind of quickly move through these first few slides. I just thought that it might be a good idea to take a look at what we all know from the last couple meetings that we had worked through and planned some WVSTA sessions. And what we were doing was targeting not a full PDSA training, but just getting the teachers engaged in change ideas. And then the other thing was impressing upon them the important role that they play in their students going into STEM majors. That was startling for me when I saw the presentation that I think it was Gay, maybe Gay's husband did one of the first conferences about how those students identified or keyed in on high school teachers. So we sort of ran two little mini PDSAs, and what was surprising to me, and this was just our small little group, and we're going to expand this out to the membership just to check, but that was a lot higher in the group than I thought it would be. Actually, 81% of our teachers feel that they have a lot of influence over students engaging in STEM, which is great. So that left about 19–20% of the teachers that think that they have a somewhat of important role. And by the end of our workshop, 100% of the teachers recognized the impact that they had. When I asked them what teachers struggled with their freshman year of college, they recognized these 4 areas: organization, time management, study skills, and socializing. From there, we went into a little training on creating change ideas, and we went into breakout sessions, and they worked on developing change ideas from these barriers that were identified in the literature and that they brainstormed about. So our goal was to make them a little bit more comfortable about creating change ideas. And we were curious to see if in a 45-minute session, we could actually give them a better understanding of what the barriers are, which this questionnaire says we did. And then do we have a basic understanding of how to construct change ideas? So we got to 81% said pretty much, and then we've got about 18% that said maybe. So we've got a little bit more work to do on how we design a 45-minute session, but that's good news. Then we asked them at the end of the workshop what change ideas or strategies they would like to go back to their classrooms and employ. And the most popular answer out of the group was providing role models for their students, which is great news for the Hometown Ambassador program and the West Virginia SPOT program. So we're going to work very closely at trying to promote those and getting those. I know that SPOT has struggled a little bit this semester, which sort of echoes what Joanna was saying about the Hometown Ambassador program sort of collapsing. In our case, there haven't been a lot of requests from teachers, which is crazy in terms of the overwhelming nature of all this virtual instruction and the things that they're dealing with. They're just not ready to even think about inviting presentations into their classroom. But knowing that my students who were in a class needed to do those presentations, I reached out to a couple ESS Passport teachers and said, hey, you think you'd want to invite a student to kind of talk about West Virginia science and things that they could major in college? And the minute I reached out to them individually, they're like, oh yeah, we're all about it. So one of my SPOT folks went in and presented once, and then they invited him back to do 6 more presentations. So it's, I think, the way that we're reaching out to the teachers. We might have to kind of target a few, and I think that we'll get more Hometown Ambassador invitations. So that was our 2 little mini PDSAs. We were successful in engaging teachers into developing change ideas, and mostly successful at raising their comfort level. and identifying whether or not teachers recognize they're a catalyst for STEM majors. We're going to blast that out to the membership and see if that in fact is representative of what our teachers are saying, or whether it was just that small group. So I'm going to change it over to Kathy. Kathy, you'll just have to let me know when you're ready for me to change the slide.
Kathy has to unmute first. So Histoprogress this semester, we went totally virtual, which means our after-school meetings are all virtual. And we developed a virtual fall professional development and partnered with Extension again. We developed and distributed curriculum, and we've never done that before. We've always had objectives and activities that had to be completed as far as developing a research project, but it's been up to the teachers and led by the students. Because of the nature of what we're doing this year, we developed a curriculum and a scaffolding for this curriculum in the hierarchy of learning of the skills that we wanted the kids to have. And we purchased all the supplies for hands-on science that our kids are completing at home, and for this developmental conceptual framework, and got it out into the kids. 800 of them. So our teachers have been working, doing this, and we're finishing up those lessons now. But one of the things we're doing this year, because we had to change what we're doing, we figured we're going to measure this and see if there's, if having this consistent dosage affects the outcomes of kids completing their HISTA projects, and which they will, but or staying in and compared to previous years, just see if there's any change, because we've done this. And so all our meetings are on Zoom. What else we've done is we've submitted to the Brady Foundation a grant, and that's to study the impact of COVID and learning. And we went ahead and started with a control group. Well, we're going to use control schools and HISTA schools, and that's what the Brady Foundation grant for, to see what those impacts are. It's telling me my internet connection is unstable. I'm unstable too. The college alumni, our group, what we did, what our HISTA college alumni group did was, it's HISTA First Gen in college at WVU. And this year we reached out and had the kids invite anybody that was first gen to join, and they meet monthly, which is really, really cool. We have attending those meetings, of course, they've been virtual, about 35 kids on average. And it's really, really neat. The older kids are help serve as peer mentors to the younger kids. Younger as in first year. So next slide. Okay. We're planning a virtual spring science symposium, and we're going to borrow very heavily from Michelle's symposium format that they did. It was just wonderful, and we'll be in touch with you more about that before too long. And that'll be in the second and third Saturdays in May this year. We got to reconnect with Allie, Jenny, and Alice Morgan, for the Adventure School and Science Adventure School. And we want to do a camp next fall for our freshmen for Raleigh, McDowell, Logan, and Mingo counties. Specifically targeting McDowell, Logan, and Mingo counties, because those are the areas where parents are very hesitant to send their kids to a summer camp on a different campus. So we were hoping to capture those kids and get them to the Bechtel Center. And so that's really exciting. We saw that we got the IRB for the COVID survey. And so we're piloting that survey right now with the HISTA students this semester. And we found some really interesting things. Was one of the things where it's given us real-time information so we can reach out to kids that are really struggling with connectivity, or even being able to get to hotspots. So that's been very helpful for us. Also, we're finding that a lot of the kids don't mind virtual so much. They're getting used to it. But of course, everybody wants to be back in school. We've sent out RFPs to the colleges seeking partners for our virtual summer camp this year. And for an on-campus experience, we know that's not going to happen, but we're planning on a virtual summer camp again this summer, like we did last summer. And so Glenville, Sarah Sawyer helped us last year. She was fabulous, did great things. We partner with Potomac State, West Virginia State University, Marshall, and I think even West Virginia Tech this year may put in a proposal. And then we're working as a partner with the University of Northern Illinois on an NSF grant for ASIL, resubmitting that. Let's see, and drumroll, and HISTA's collaborated with the University of Texas, their high school initiative research program. And that's kind of neat. They have they're much more in depth in what they're doing with their program, but it's a great opportunity for us to share ideas and to give us, the HISTA program, more ideas to build from and how to reach first generation kids and spread even though they're not in HISTA, how to spread some of this joy of HISTA out to other kids that aren't in HISTA through teachers. And drumroll, I finally finished up those 2 PDSAs and put them on NILS. All right, look, yeah, woo! So,
bravo to all of you guys for this thankless task. Greatly appreciate it.
One thing we did this year, because we're virtual, is, and our kids can't get out, we don't want anybody out doing community service, is that we offered a series of guest speakers for teachers and students to attend. And this is a great place for Joanna and Samantha to use your ambassadors, because we need them, we schedule them, we set them up. And when we set them up, the kids come. For instance, some of the things we did was we had card speakers. Those are community and rural rotation students, and their topics were like, we had a med student who's from Doddridge County, who is first gen and was so wonderful, that helped with that first one. And another group of students did tricks that helped me in when I was in college and undergraduate school, and where to find help. And then the last one was what kind of careers are available for students. We did another series of diversity with Ron Scott Jr. He's fabulous in Wheeling. And he did 2 activities with us, Learning to Be Better, which were lessons on race relations and a guide to diversity amongst the majority. And he is so powerful. Then we had Embry, and you can see I have 2 after that. That means that they offered them twice a week, each topic twice a week. And with Embry, they did a workshop on opportunities for research experiences when you get on college campuses, and how that helps you when you're pursuing your career in higher ed. And then the last one we did, which we all needed, which was understanding mental health. And that was addressing the stressors that we're all dealing with COVID, the change change, life, school. Those were just this semester. They were either on depending upon the week, it was either a Monday and Wednesday or a Tuesday and Thursday. So the kids would come and we had on the average over 50 people, sometimes as many as 98 kids would tune into these. So it was great. Next slide.
So I think we're out of time, but we are pushing forward on more development of PDSAs involving guidance counselors, and then we need to replicate what we just did at WVCTM. So yeah, that's where we're moving. So that's it for us. Let's stop my screen share. There we go.
Thank you guys so much. There has been a fair amount of chat, excitement about the stuff you've shared. So I know it's hard to see that while you're presenting, but you guys may want to check in there. Recently, Joanna and I suggested, wow, would this be open to our students also, some of these presentations from HISTA, and would we be able to cross-advertise with each other? Because you certainly have some stuff that we could broadcast out, and it's very synergistic with what First Two is doing, and hopefully likewise. We know that getting your HISTA teachers to help us advertise for the immersives and for students in general to connect with their First Two club when they get to college, wherever they go, would be great.
Since these things are virtual, it's not hard to just tag on hundreds more people because it's just virtual. Yeah.
Right.
That would be a really big win for spring. I assume you have more lined up for spring.
Yeah, we our biggest fear, yeah, we're doing it again this spring. Of course, we're offering mental health again because we all need it. We're all just batshit crazy. We need it. But the diversity is really important. We're doing that again. So, but yeah, that's great. We're looking for chemistry. We're looking for, again, the ambassadors. 500 kids show up for one of these presentations. That's never happened, thank goodness. So we didn't have to kick anybody out. But like I said, we've had close to 100 at once. So.
All right.